It's almost time.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the MeTV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The Adventures of Superman.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Hi, I'm John Mallis. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Wednesday. Today it's the world of sports, but in the monologue we're going to go over a lot of issues that took place in the last 48 hours or so. Very interesting stuff, but you can call in at 436-MeTV, option 11. You'll be very fascinated with the sport we're talking about today. Back in a moment. All right, my friends, welcome back to the program here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno on this Wednesday morning, and it's the world of sports. And like I said just a moment ago, you'll be totally fascinated, I think is the right word, with the sport that we're going to be dealing with today, because it can be and it is a vicious sport if you're not prepared totally. Physically and mentally, it is very demanding. We'll get into that as the program progresses here between 10 and 11 o'clock. And as usual, you're watching us on Comcast, channel 187, 43.6, 13.1. Are we up yet on 8.1? I have no idea, but you can check it out. You know, that would be 4 different stations live between 10 and 11 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. You want to check out the replay? Feel free, my friends. A lot of people do check us out on the replay because they can't watch us between 10 and 11 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock, 13.6, 8 o'clock at night, 4.6 Biz TV. And then I also talk to a lot of people who watch us on YouTube, because all of these shows get posted to our YouTube channel. And so they watch it daily, weekly. They catch up on shows just by watching YouTube. How do you like that? Well, that's the way it goes. Anyway, the Twitter account, at John Mallos, MeTV. So an extended monologue today before we get into the main part and main thrust of this program, which is in a very interesting sport. I'm going to first talk about another bombshell coming out of the Bill Cosby camp. I do want to put a picture up of the comedian. There he is. This one involving the alleged sex abuse scandal. Apparently 10 years ago, Cosby admitted he had quaaludes with the intent to giving them to women he wanted to have sex with. That according to documents, court documents, obtained by the Associated Press. We have this report.
Bill Cosby admitted in 2005 that he obtained quaaludes to give them to young women he wanted to have sex with, the Associated Press has learned. A lengthy deposition obtained by the AP reveals Cosby gave the sedative to at least one woman and other people. That woman, former Temple University employee Andrea Constand, and a second woman testified in the same case that they had knowingly taken quaaludes from him. When asked in the 2005 deposition whether he obtained the quaaludes to give them to women he wanted to have sex with, Cosby answered yes. When asked whether he gave any of the women the drug without their knowledge, Cosby's lawyer objected. The 77-year-old actor-comedian has been accused by more than 24 women of sexual misconduct in incidents dating back more than 4 decades. They include allegations by many that he drugged and raped them.
The accusations are too old to be prosecuted, but 3 of the women are accusing him of defamation in Boston for having his agents say their claims are untrue. So these documents could still prove relevant to that lawsuit. Cosby settled the lawsuit with Constand in 2006 under confidential terms. His lawyers Monday didn't immediately return calls. Robert Bumstead, Associated Press.
Rich. And it doesn't stop there, my friends. Just within the last 24 hours, we got new information about another sex scandal. This one involving this man. You may recognize him. His name is Jared. That man who became a pop culture icon, the spokesman for Subway. Roll the videotape. Local and federal investigators searched the home of Jared Fogle in Indianapolis on Tuesday looking for child porn. In fact, most of the day, his home was surrounded by law enforcement. They seized computers and other devices, stored them in a temporary truck as evidence, and at one point, Jared himself emerged and entered the truck. He later got into a car with his lawyer, was driven away, but was not held. He was not arrested. He was not charged with any crime. This comes a couple of months after the arrest of Russell Taylor on multiple counts of producing and possessing child porn. Taylor is the man who served as the executive director of the Jared Foundation, which works to prevent childhood obesity. Jared's relationship with Subway goes back some 15 years, which he claimed to have lost 245 pounds on a steady diet of Subway sandwiches, but now the company has suspended him. And Floyd Mayweather was in the news yesterday. He raked in a whopping $180 million, beating Manny Pacquiao on May the 2nd, but he was stripped of his WBO title. The World Boxing Organization says Mayweather refused to pay a mere $200 grand out of that fee, a sanction fee. The deadline was last Friday. The WBO requires boxers to pay a 3% fee of their purse in order to fight for the world title, and normally they pay that fee on the night of the fight. But Mayweather didn't do that. The new champion is now Timothy Bradley, who recently defeated Jesse Vargas on June the 27th for the interim title. Now to a different type of fighting that I want to show you. Change the videotape. There it is. Cage fighting. That's the main thrust of our program today. A brief and brutal encounter is what this is. What is it? Well, it's an extreme form of martial arts where two men beat each other up in a cage, just like all-out war, head-to-head combat. It is a flamboyant mix of kickboxing and wrestling, but to others it appears brutal and violent that demeans the other fighter to a certain extent. One of our guests today is this man, Mason Fowler. As a pro, he has 2 wins and no losses. He was also undefeated as an amateur, 3-0. I'm told he is one of the young stars on the upswing, on the rise. He fights full-time, trains every day hard right here in the city of Fresno. He has a fight coming up on national TV at the Save Mart Center. And with him today is his partner, Jonathan Contrestano. He too trains here in Fresno, very well educated. He is a full-time real estate agent. He trains every day as well, and not a guy you want to mess with. Neither one of these guys. Live in our studio now is Mason Fowler, a cage fighter, along with Jonathan Contrestano. 2 cage fighters are here. They are here to tell the story as to why they do what they do and how they do it. And what is cage fighting? 436-ME-TV, option 11. A lot to talk about, a lot of video to show, and a lot of your phone calls to take here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno. Back in just a moment.
We need help to find this missing child. Erica Parsons was 13 when she disappeared. She was last seen in Salisbury, North Carolina in November of 2011. This is what we believe she looks like today at age 16. If you have any information, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Back here on the program, Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno on this Wednesday morning, the world of sports. You might be asking yourself, what in the world is cage fighting? We got 2 cage fighters right here. It's a vicious sport, I know that. You got to be in shape mentally and physically. You can't be a wimp and get in the ring on this one, my friends. No, 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 no. Mason Fowler is here. Jonathan Contrestano is here. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Thanks
for having us.
Hey, thank you for being here. I like that. What's the hat all about? What's that? Base camp?
Yeah, Dethrone Base Camp.
Okay.
Out of Bullard and Marks. That's where we train and teach. So that's our gym.
Okay. Bullard and
Marks.
Bullard and Marks is where you guys train and teach. So you teach other fighters how to do what you do, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Fighters, kids, women, Anyone.
All right, you guys, I'm ready. I'm ready. Anytime.
Get your hands
Let's
up. Yeah.
Give me a couple.
I wouldn't mess with you guys for any amount of tea in China, believe me.
Yeah.
Or any amount of money, let's put it that way. So, you know, I want to roll some videotape. Let's roll cage fighting number 2. This doesn't have any video of you guys, you know, actually cage fighting, but explain, this is just general footage we pulled off the internet, off of YouTube. A cage match. I don't know who's in this one. We do have a phone call. I will take it here just for a moment, but hang on, caller, just for a moment here. Guys, explain, what is cage fighting? What is it?
Well, it's a combination of kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, taekwondo, any other martial art. You get in there, you don't have a headgear on, no shin guards. You have little gloves so that you could wrestle and grapple, and you get in there and fight and see who's trained harder, who's got the best cardio, and which style is going to beat the other style.
Jonathan, no shoes, bare feet. Why?
For me, kickboxing, one, you can't kick to the face with the shoes, more likely to cut somebody, consider an uneven edge. But you have actually better traction with your feet. You train every day on the mats without shoes, so you get used to that. I mean, trying to spin through a kick or rotate when you punch, you get used to that feeling, so you don't want to wear the shoes in there.
Do you know these guys, by the way?
I know the ref. That's Cecil Peoples.
Okay. All right. We got a caller hanging on. Thanks for being patient. You're on the air. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, Jonathan, directed to both of you. Do you have more women coming up to those cage fightings, you know? Because I see that both of you guys are built where these women would go wild, number one. And then number two, when and where or did cage fighting begin? I know they had it at River Park one time, and it was packed, but man, you have to take a physical beating to be a champion or whatever, you know. I mean, it's just not a 300-pounder could never stand that beating because he would probably go down. But at what age did cage fighting start? And in your cases, when did you start it, and why did you start it? You know.
Okay. Hey, a couple of good questions.
Yeah.
So, when did cage fighting start as a sport, and when did you guys start? I'll let you begin, Mason.
I believe the first UFC was 1993, and it was no rules. Groin strikes were allowed, hair pulling, no gloves, no weight classes. It was a one-night tournament. You fought, I think, 3 or 4 times in one night, and it was winner take all. And now it's evolved much past that.
Yeah. And when did you start cage fighting?
I actually didn't start professionally cage fighting until 3 years ago. I was going to college and was playing football at the time, working on my business degree, started training, and then once I graduated, it's like, you know what, my body's only going to last for so long, I want to do this, and the training is just brutal. So it's now or never.
Is the training more difficult than the actual match itself?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. You end up getting injured more training than you ever do in the cage.
During training, do you wear headgear?
Yes.
For the most part.
During sparring. I mean, you try and protect yourself as much as you can, but at the same time, you're preparing for the battle. So you have to be as realistic as you can be in there. So you train full speed, just try and keep the power down.
So you take actual hits, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like regular boxing where, you know, the athletes go in, they spar, they hit, but they're wearing headgear.
Yeah, the biggest thing is, you know, conditioning your body, too. I mean, you take the shots to your liver, you take the shots to your leg. I mean, your body breaks down, so you have to get used to taking that impact.
So why? What do you want to put yourself through this for? I mean, the pounding is excruciating.
Right.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, so what do you want to take this pounding for? You could get a concussion.
Absolutely. I love it. It's something that I didn't get in fights growing up. I didn't start training or fighting until, you know, after I was 18. But growing up, you see superheroes. Like Batman was my hero. You know, you watch action films, and all the good guys beat up the bad guys. And you know, I wanted to learn, wanted to train, and got into it, and found a little success at it, and wanted to do it more.
What if I told you you're crazy?
Actually, do you think boxing's crazy?
You've been told that before, right?
Yeah, I mean, in MMA we have that option to take the fight to the ground, get a submission, or stay on top of the guy and not take damage, where in boxing you're standing there, the only thing you could do is hit the other guy in the head or the body.
Well, the one thing that comes to mind with regular boxing is and the one match that really turns my stomach is the one between Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali that really ended Muhammad Ali's career. And Muhammad Ali was defenseless against Larry Holmes,
Right.
and that was a brutal fight to watch because here was a living legend getting pounded by Larry Holmes. Who knows what kind of damage he did to Muhammad Ali at that time, but you know the condition of Muhammad Ali now.
Yeah. Boxing's a tough
You
sport.
ever think about that?
Yeah, boxing's a tough sport. I mean, if you're out on your feet like that, they'll let it go. They try and the ref's got a hard job. He tries to let you fight back as much as you can. But for us, I mean, if you're out, you're out. It's over. There's no standing 8 count. There's no 3 knockdowns around. It's you're out. You're out.
The ref will come in and stop it a lot faster.
A couple of weeks back, we had 3-time world boxing champion Tony Lopez here. He drove down from Sacramento. I don't know if you know who Tony Lopez was when he was fighting, but 20 years ago, he won 3 world boxing titles. And he took a beating himself. He took a vicious beating, but came up off the mat and won 3 titles. Amazing.
Nice.
But it's a brutal sport, whether
Absolutely.
it's boxing, whether it's taekwondo, whether it's, kick fighting, cage fighting, whatever the case may be, you can get hurt.
Absolutely. And it's something that's hard to explain unless you've actually jumped in there and done it. I mean, you get this feeling that it's real hard to explain to someone else. So I invite everybody, come down to Bullet of Marks, come down to Dethrone and train with us.
Okay. And we'll talk about the national TV fight that you're going to have here in what? When is it?
By the end of the year.
By the end of the year.
It's not scheduled yet. Yeah, it's going to be at Save Mart Center.
All right. Mason Fowler is here. Jonathan Contrestano is here. They're 2 cage fighters. So if you want to call in, ask any questions, we'll show you some more video how this thing goes and what cage fighting is all about in just a moment. 436-MeTV option 11. If you think these 2 guys should not be doing this, hey, they enjoy it. They enjoy it. They're not worried about getting hurt. They're having fun, and that's what life is all about, I guess. An open line, so call in. Back in a moment.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator. The first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Take a look at this. Let's play.
This is too hip for you. I'll slow down.
Let's play.
Watch all your favorite classic game shows on Buzzer TV, KVBC Digital Channel 13.7.
Well, my friends, what do you think about cage fighting? 436-MeTV option 11. Is it a vicious sport? Would you go watch it? Do you like boxing? Do you like cage fighting? Mason Fowler is here. Jonathan Contrestano is here. And I do want to roll some videotape. Let's roll Mason Fowler number 1. And this thing's got no sound on it. So, Mason, you can talk about yourself a little bit and what we're seeing here in the video. And then you can talk about what color trunks are you?
I'm the white trunks.
You're in the white trunks.
Up against the cage.
Yeah, up against the cage.
He's like trying to take me down, and that's a Kimura reversal there.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm on top.
Wow.
So, there's a lot of grappling involved and a lot of skill, and there's a certain finesse to it.
So how do you win a fight like this? What determines the winner?
You could catch him in a chokehold, arm bar, knee bar. There's all kinds of different submissions. Your opponent taps out, or you could finish him with strikes. You could knock him out, or you could TKO him by the ref stopping in to save him if he's not defending himself.
Can you pin him down like wrestling? Like 1, 2, 3?
No.
Oh, okay.
You get on top, but then that's when you start punching and start looking for submissions.
Huh. All right. Is it one on points and knockout like regular boxing?
If it goes all 3 rounds, the judges will give a score, so it's based on top position, strikes, aggression, things like that. And if not, if the ref stops it or if you get a submission, you win.
So basically the cage is like a cyclone fence, right? It's a metal cyclone fence.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah, so it's real uncomfortable. See, I got my opponent stuffed up against the cage there. Back of his head's rubbing on it. Doesn't feel good.
Wow. And so what's the strategy here? What are you doing? You're punching him. I see that.
Yeah, I'm on top right here, just trying to stay relaxed. He's throwing up some submissions. He's looking for my arm there. He's looking for a triangle, and I'm just trying to stay on top and land some good shots.
Yeah, that's amazing. So the ref is well, he was in there close. Okay, let's roll another one. Mason. Oh, we got a phone call. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's take the call first. All right. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning. I just wanted to say that it would be great if the guys could talk about the rules.
Oh, yeah. Turn it up. Turn it up. Go ahead. What's that?
I'm sorry.
We can't.
There's a big difference between amateur and professional MMA, and it's not like the no-holds-barred situation that was there before. And so it would be great if the guys could talk about like what happens in their rules meeting and the things that they are told before they start the fight, so that people understand that although it is a very competitive and difficult sport, it's not as brutal and violent as people tend to think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so let me ask you a question while you're on the line there, caller. Are you a regular fan of cage fighting, MMA? Do you like this type of sport?
I am an inspector for amateur and sometimes
that's Yvette.
Professional. Hi, Mason.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I just think it's important for people to know that there's a difference, that there's not as much danger to people as other people tend to think, and that they really need to go and check it out and see what it's about before they form that judgment as to whether or not they want to support the sport, want to be a fan, want to participate, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Stay there, caller, because I want to ask you another question. I agree. I think people ought to form their own opinions once they see the sport for themselves, either on television or in person. Go check it out before you form and judge for yourself. But let me ask you another question, caller, if I could. When you say the sport is not vicious, after watching some of the video and some of the matches, there are some people that would disagree with you and say, yeah, it is a vicious sport, maybe a little more so than boxing and wrestling. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, if you look strictly at statistics, there are more lasting injuries in boxing than there are in mixed martial arts. Yeah. And what Mason was saying before is absolutely true. When you're in a boxing ring, that's all you're doing. Blows to the body, blows to the head. They're looking for the knockout, or you have to be down for so long. In MMA, our fights are stopped right away when it's determined that the fighter is in any kind of danger. So if a fighter is taking blows, the referee will step in and stop that fight. If the fighter sustains a cut and it's interfering, like they're bleeding into the eye, they call the doctor in, and that fight can be stopped right away. And particularly in amateurs, where they're not, they haven't turned pro yet, the rules are even more strenuous to protect the fighters, to give them longevity of the career, and to make sure that they don't sustain lasting injuries.
Yeah. Interesting. And so, well, I guess, but see, here's the thing, caller. We don't have any stats to back that up. And we know boxing is vicious. I mean, people have gotten hurt. Football, we've seen in recent years, a couple of players for the 49ers have retired early because they don't want to get hurt. And we know football, boxing is very vicious, but we don't have any stats to compare any of these sports. Am I right about that?
Research is actually being done, but if you look at the number of traumatic brain injuries that are sustained in football, it is actually considerably more. And it's almost counterintuitive, but it's true that more injuries are sustained in professional football than in mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Do we have stats to back that up, though? I mean,
there are some available out there. The research is fairly young on MMA because it doesn't have the same longevity that professional football does. But yes, studies are being done that show that less injuries in MMA.
Okay, I wish I had some of those stats and figures in front of me. Anyway, I appreciate the call. Got to take a break. Mason Fowler is here. Jonathan Contrestano is here. I urge you to go out and check it out for yourself if you like cage fighting or MMA or martial arts, any of that type of stuff. You know, that stuff is very popular now with some of these young kids. We'll get into that with our guests here, 436-ME-TV, option 11. Any other people interested in calling in, feel free, an open phone line. Back in just a moment.
A top secret location. It's the Spies Who Love Me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Cage fighting, is it vicious? Do you think it is? Do you like the sport? Is it too violent a sport? Let's roll the videotape, my friends. Vicious Fighting number 2. Talking to Mason Fowler and Jonathan Contrestano. And I want to pick up with what the caller did say about the rule differences between professional and amateur. What are the rules and what are the differences? These are women, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But go ahead.
So in amateur MMA, the big difference is that it's 2-minute rounds instead of 5-minute rounds, so you only fight for 6 minutes as opposed to 15.
Yeah.
And there's no elbows allowed to the face and no knees allowed to the face. And also there's no heel hooks, which are dangerous submissions that could really hurt your knees.
Yeah, it looks like she took a pounding right there, no question about it. But so there are some rule differences between amateur and professional, right? And you can kick in the face, right?
You can. Now they added new rules here in California. I think your first 2 or 3 fights you have to wear shin guards, too. So it's not the shin, the bone right to the head. There's a shin guard protecting you, too.
Okay, but when you kick in the face, is there any regulation or rules is there anything off limits?
No.
There's nothing off limits,
you're
right?
You're throwing your shin as hard as you can to try and hit that person.
Try and knock that person out, right?
Yeah, right. If that person's prepared and done their homework, then they'll have a defense for it. But if not, it's going to be a rough night.
It's going to be a rough night. Now, no question about it. Looks like some training here.
Yeah.
And again, we're looking at some women here. And, women are into cage fighting, and they're into MMA as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're they're tough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
They're tough.
Anybody that spends those hours is going to be tough.
Let's show another video, and that's called Cage Fighting number 1. I do want to go back to cage fighting here and ask you about, you have a difference of opinion, you two, between amateur and professional. JT, explain your viewpoint about amateur and professional.
Absolutely. I didn't fight amateur. I believe if you're going to go out there and fight, you need to be paid for it. I went pro right off the bat. I wasn't a fan of training really hard and doing all that work and then having somebody else make money off my name.
Yeah.
In my biggest opinion, promoters will try and sell you on you need those amateur fights for experience, but I trained for 7-8 years without ever fighting. You get that experience in the gym by fighting and training constantly every day. So, if you're nervous out in front of people, take a public speaking class. Don't go risk it. You run the same risk of breaking your arm or nose in an amateur fight as you do pro. Get paid.
Makes sense to me. What do you think, Mason?
Well, I started fighting a lot younger. I started when I was 19, so I had nothing but time. I figured, why not get a couple amateur fights in that don't really count on your pro record and get that experience. And I actually won the national amateur tournament, too. I fought in Vegas. I fought in New York, so I was really comfortable by the time I went pro.
But you weren't getting paid.
Yeah, I wasn't. I had a full-time job at the time. I didn't think I was ready to go pro yet, and I wanted to just keep training and getting better, and I wanted to do a couple amateur fights to get out there and see if it was for me or not.
Yeah. And so this difference of opinion, I guess, won't change anything. And you're glad you went amateur. You're glad you just went pro. You bypassed the amateur status part of it. But so the rules are a little bit different. And what do you think about what the caller said? It's not as vicious as football. It's not as vicious as regular boxing. JT, your thoughts on that? As we take a look at another piece of videotape, let's go knockout. Knockout video does 1:35. We'll look at the video here while you're talking.
Awesome.
Do you think that cage fighting is less vicious, less dangerous, less of a risk than football or boxing?
I played football at Fresno City College. No, I had some injuries playing there, but cage fighting, if you're training, you're prepared, and you're actually in a reputable gym learning your discipline, it's a lot safer. I mean, it is brutal. People are swinging at each other, and we haven't seen the long-term effects yet. Sport is relatively new of what could happen to cage fighters, but like you saw it right there, that fighter was knocked out, fight's over. It's done. He's not getting up for another round. So
this fight's done then. This fight's over, right? Or no,
maybe not.
They paused it. He punched him to the back of the head.
He hit him in the back. That's another thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's another thing you're not allowed to do. From the ears back is where you're not allowed to strike. The back of the head down the spinal cord is where you have to stay away from.
Now he's his mouthpiece.
Was he penalized for that, or?
Just a warning, I believe.
Okay. All right. I believe a knockout is coming here. We'll just play this until the end. So do you think this cage fighting is less dangerous?
I believe so. Yeah, I like to think so, considering I'm in it. I mean, you're definitely taking shots to the head, though, and that's what you do in football as well. You have guys, they've taken steps like the helmet-to-helmet rule to try and avoid that, but, you know, right now he's out on his feet. They'll stop it there. If a good ref will stop it much sooner.
So you think, for the most part, Mason, that this sport is less dangerous, and why?
Well, it's all about how you're training and what gym you're at. Some gyms you don't spar with headgear on. Our gym, we wear big 16-ounce boxing gloves, a big headgear, knee pads, rib protectors, everything when we spar. We're trying to be as safe as possible. So you don't want to take those shots in the gym. You go take them out there in the cage when you're getting paid for it.
Right. But you know, you're taking shots during the match.
Absolutely.
So it's 3 rounds.
It's 3 rounds.
How long are the rounds?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, where normally in normal boxing it would be 3 minutes, I believe.
However many rounds. 6 rounds.
12 rounds.
12 rounds
sometimes. 12 rounds, 3 minutes, 12 rounds.
But one thing in boxing, I mean, like the caller pointed out, you're going to the body and the head. MMA, I mean, I'm attacking your legs, I'm attacking your arms, so it's going to be wrestling at the most part. So it's not just straight shots. In boxing, you'll see they'll throw up to 200 punches sometimes in one round.
Wow.
MMA, it's a lot less significant than that because there's so much more in it. If somebody's getting pounded on their feet, they're going to look to try and change the aspect, see if they're a better grappler or wrestler.
You've been knocked out?
No, I have not.
You?
No.
Not yet. Is this real wood or is this Formica? What is this? Anyway, we're with Mason Fowler and Jonathan Contrestano, 2 cage fighters right here in the city of Fresno. They train here. That's right, at Bullard and Marks. Go out there and check it out. We'll get into that and much more. 436-MeTV, option 11 if you want to call in. Back in a moment.
Hello, I'm John Walsh. We need your help to capture this fugitive. James Bell is an alleged child predator. Bell's wanted for molesting 3 girls ages 9 through 13 while working at a local YMCA in 2003. He was arrested, then fled. Bell has worked as a gymnastics instructor, coach, and a computer repairman. Bell could be anywhere along the West Coast. If you know where he is, call 617-742-5533.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Colt as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
Back here on the program, my friends, we're talking about cage fighting, and we do have a caller, and just before we get to the call, I do want to roll the videotape of vicious fighting. Let's roll that tape while we take this phone call here and ask our caller, what do you think about cage fighting? You called in, you must have an interest in the sport, right? Huh?
It's vicious. There's no way I heard the caller saying that it's no different than boxing or football. You look at those boxers; they're taking a beating, one-on-one, hitting their face, their body. It's not like football. You take you block and you push, and sure, it's brutal, but it's not brutal like the cage fighting. And if you're talking about boxing, that's a sport that could be as closest to the cage fighting. But I disagree with the caller that made it, saying that it's not brutal. This is a brutal fight. That's all I can say.
I agree.
So I give the question to your guest. What made him get into it? Number one, and I know I heard the comments that they had a job and everything, but still, your body can only take so much. Your head can take punishment and cause complete damage. So just give me a little answer so I don't get into the ring myself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead. I mean, thanks, caller. I appreciate it very much. Don't you consider that brutal right there?
Yeah. And that's an amateur fight too.
Right. That's an amateur fight?
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree. It's brutal. It's something that society has kind of gotten away from, is that being able to test yourself and push yourself. And this is absolutely what that is to the physical and mental aspect. I mean, not only toughness, but trying to push yourself to become better and to do more. I think that's why I find it fun and fascinating, is that I'm constantly pushing myself, trying to evolve. It's just that aspect of striving for better.
Yeah, I disagree with the caller there. I don't think you can compare this to hockey. I mean, it's a. Yeah. I mean, I know hockey's got some fights, but it's a completely different. And in hockey, they have all the pads. They have the padding from head to toe. They got padding. They got face masks. The goalie has a helmet. Right. So here, what made you get started? What made you want to just? And you played football. Did you play football?
I actually played rugby.
Okay, you played rugby. You played football.
Yeah.
Very close sports. So what made you get into this, JT?
Actually, a football injury made me get into this. I was rehabbing. I tore some ligaments in my ankle from playing football, and the physical therapist that was rehabbing me said, "You need a workout to get you back in shape quick. You got to go do this MMA workout." And so, I mean, he was right. I got back in shape real fast. I was loving what I was doing. It was just one of the most intense things I've ever done. And then, I got on the field the next year, and I didn't want to tackle people anymore. I wanted to hit them. So I switched over and started. I'd go from football to fighting, and just started fighting full time after that.
Yeah. What about you? What made you get in, Mason?
I've always been a big fan of the sport, and right out of high school, I started working a full-time job, union, benefits, everything. And
what's wrong with that?
I just after about a year, I just felt like I needed to do something else. I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to be somebody. And this was my
You are somebody. You guys are both important. Okay, caller, you're there. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Yvette again. I just wanted to give you some resources for having statistics. If you look at the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine and the Journal of Combative Sports, they have done research on the fact that MMA sustains less injuries than football and some of the boxing, definitely, and some of the other sports. And so while we may find the sport to be, I like to use the term competitive rather than brutal. I sit cage side for these fights when I work them. I see everything that's happening in there. I see the training and everything that people do. Occasionally I get in the cage myself and train. So I know what goes into it, and I know how hard these guys work. And I just don't want the people to base a judgment on just what they see from TV, because there's so much more that you see when you're in person and you're actually at these fights, or if you just go to the gym and see what it is that they do and how they do it and the instruction that they receive. Yeah. When they are going into a fight, Mason can tell you that before the fight starts and they have the rules meeting, there's like 20 or 30 instructions that they receive about safety. So, he talked about heel hooks and things like that. There's no heel kicks to the kidneys. There's no straight 12 to 6 elbows to the body. There's no grabbing of the collarbone. There is no, you can't use the C-clamp on the throat to hold somebody down. You have to, have more than that. You can't bite. You can't, there's all kinds of rules that are there to protect the fighters. So, the statistics are there if you actually want to look for them. But the truth of the matter is more people sustain lasting injuries in football and boxing than mixed martial arts, and we have a hell of a sport here.
Yeah, I think right now, and I appreciate the call. I appreciate you calling back and trying to clarify, and I think you're trying to defend the sport, and that's fine. I don't have anything against cage fighting, to be honest with you. I have nothing against boxing or any of these sports. I come from a sports background, so I have nothing. I covered and watched all these sports for a lifetime, although cage fighting I haven't watched that much, but I think it's really a judgment call. I think each individual person who watches cage fighting will make their own judgment about whether or not it's as vicious or as demanding or as dangerous as, say, football or boxing.
Right.
Would you agree to that?
Absolutely. And I think the media and the news is only going to show you the most vicious.
Right.
They're going to give you
like
that.
we've done here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. None of those fights went to
Try
decision.
to give your sport a black eye.
That's right.
As the other media has.
Yeah, definitely go down to your local gym and check it out, or watch it on TV. It's something that there's a lot of. It's not just two guys in there swinging at each other. It's something that I didn't see how much work went into until I got into it.
Hey, I got to take a break, but just quickly, Mason. I mean, she talked about the rules. There are rules in every sport, but like every sport, in the heat of battle, sometimes the rules go out the window.
Yeah, that's true. The ref is right there on the guys.
Yeah.
If something happens, an illegal strike, an illegal move, the ref jumps in and warns the other fighter or takes a point away.
But that's in any sport.
Yeah,
football,
of course.
Baseball, basketball. I mean, you can't avoid it. 436-ME-TV, option 11. And I appreciate you calling back and offering up your opinion. And I forgot her name, by the way. Yvette. Thank you, Yvette, for your opinion and calling in and your interest in the program. 436-ME-TV, option 11. We're back with more cage fighting. We may have a cage fight right here. Let's put up the cage and let's go. Back in just a moment.
We get our speed from Mom and Dad. They do stuff super fast. And now they got this new kitchen, so they're even faster. So they can help us with our free throws.
The time-saving Frigidaire Gallery line with a quick preheat and smudge-proof stainless steel that resists fingerprints and cleans easily. It's mealtime in no time, from start to clean. Frigidaire Gallery.
Save more during Frigidaire Gallery bonus days when you buy 3 or more qualifying appliances. See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there.
Officer Poncherello, man. Frank Poncherello. Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
There were some stats that came out, and of course, Yvette, our caller just a moment ago, pointed it out, backed it up with some stats about how the Journal of American Medical Association has some stats to back up the injuries and how they rank the sports in terms of danger and viciousness, I guess. So I guess that's what Yvette was talking about. So there are some stats. But if you guys had kids, would you let them cage fight?
I would let them train all the way up until they're 18, 19, 20, and then that'd be their decision after that.
You?
Yeah, definitely. Boy or girl, if it was a girl especially, I want them both to know how to defend themselves. And the options there, if you want to fight, you could fight. If not, you know how to defend yourself and take care of yourself.
All right. I wonder if Yvette would let her kids, if she has kids, cage fight. Would you let your kid, any of you out there, let me ask this question to our viewers. If you had kids, would you let them play football? Would you let them box? Would you let them be involved in cage fighting? That's the question. Or would you try to protect your kids knowing the risks and the dangers of each sport? Do you want to roll another piece of videotape? Let's take a look at Jonathan Contrestano fighting in a cage. And JT, they call you JT. Is that you right there?
That's me right there.
In the black trunk. Well, you're both wearing black trunks, but you got the black and the red and the white there. And so talk a little bit about this match and what you're doing here.
This was my second pro fight. I was against a good opponent. just coming out and trying to make it a striking war. He was known for his kickboxing, and I thought mine was better, so I wanted to try and prove a point.
And you won this fight.
I won this fight.
Yeah. How tall are you?
Just under 6 foot, like 5'11".
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Great. So
this was actually fought at 170 pounds. I fight at 155 pounds now.
So you're 155?
I'm more than that today.
More than that. What are you today?
About 185.
185. Okay, so I was being told before the show that you guys can quickly lose and gain weight depending on the fight. Is that true?
Right.
How do you do that? I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
How do I lose like 10 pounds right now off my waist?
A lot of work goes into it, but yeah, it's going to come right back the way we do it. We try and, like for my last fight, I weighed in at 155 pounds, and the next day in the cage, I weighed in at 174.
Wow.
So 24 hours later.
How do you do that?
You gotta eat.
Yeah, you eat right, and then you regulate your food and water intake. So you're controlling your sodium, carbs, and then how much water you're taking in.
Okay.
Yeah, so I go from, I'm 200 now, I go down to 170, and then by the time I fight, I'm between 190 and 195.
That's you know, a lot of people in this country wish they could do exactly what you guys are doing with their weight, because that's crazy.
It's not fun.
That weekend vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's easier to gain or to lose?
It's easier to gain.
It's easier to gain because you can eat pizza, you can eat whatever you want, right? But to monitor the sodium intake, the water intake, the carbs, everything, that's a monumental task. I know I'm having to do that myself right now.
Right, right.
So
it's not an easy feat at all, especially when you know, you're around. I mean, you still have a normal life you have to live, so you're around family and friends who want to invite you over, and they invite you over for meals, not to just sit around. So you have to really watch what you eat around everything.
All right, let's take a look at another piece of videotape from Mason Fowler, number 2, and he is fighting here. And Mason, I want you to go over what we're looking at in the video here. You are in the
white.
White, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is the finals in New York that I fought in.
What arena in New York?
Where was it at?
Not the most famous arena, right? Which is Madison Square Garden.
It's not. It was down the street. It was a big convention center. I don't remember the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when was this?
This was, I believe, about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's your weight here? What do you weigh?
I fought at 170. I was probably 190, 195. Yeah, when I was in the cage. And again, top control. I'm not taking any damage. Just using my jiu-jitsu, not getting caught in any submissions, and giving him little shots.
You're holding him at bay, is what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. You know, pin him down, give him a couple shots, and win the round.
Yeah.
I'm more of a grappler. He's more of a Muay Thai kickboxer specialist. So we both have our own game that we like to play.
When you get slammed up against that cyclone fence, I call it, which is the cage, does that hurt?
Oh yeah, it'll leave marks the next day for sure. I feel that the next day.
I used to get slammed, or we used to play basketball up against cyclone fence when I was in elementary school. And I used to get marks because I used to get thrown up against the cyclone fence, and it hurt.
Right.
But when you're young and you're a kid, you come back.
Absolutely.
You can come back the next day, right?
Right. There's a little protective coating on it, so it's not just like metal on skin, but
yeah.
I mean, you definitely feel it.
Wow, that's amazing. So you won this match, no question, Mason. How tall are you?
I'm about the same height. I'm about 5'11".
Okay.
5'11".
And so talk a little bit about where you guys train again, and give me the address. What can the general public just go over there and watch you guys work out?
No, absolutely.
Okay, what's the address out there? Do you know, or?
Off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay, but it's at
Bullard and
Marks. And Marks.
And that center shopping center right by Ace Hardware's in there, and the Fresno Credit Union, that same shopping center.
Right next to the library.
Right
next door to the library.
I know where the library is. Yeah, so it's next door to the library at Bullard and Marks. I know where that is.
Yeah, Mason doesn't read. I'm surprised he knew that.
Yeah. So what time can people go over there and watch you guys work out?
We're there every night.
What time?
Pro class, we train during the day, just the pros in there, and then we're back again at night. Come in at 5:30. Mason teaches the no-gi over there. Come in, take class from him, and then no-gi and striking after that. Muay Thai, boxing, whatever your fancy is.
You have any older guys come in, like in their 40s, 50s?
Oh, we got our friend Old Man Mike. He's in his 50s. He's in there training with us.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Any other oldies but goodies?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
plenty.
Really?
There's a guy.
They just want to get in shape, right?
Yeah, and like I said, there's no better workout than that. If you're worried about somebody punching you in the face as soon as you walk in, it's not going to happen. Just come in, train. You're going to get the best workout of your life.
What does it cost? Does it cost anything?
It varies depending on what you want to do. What discipline you want to train, how often you want to train. They have different programs working out, and with the summer specials as well. So
yeah, our summer special is 3 months unlimited for $199. So come in and talk to my boy Jason, and he'll hook you up.
All right, 3 months for $199. That's at Bullard and Marks, right next door to the library. That's right, the southwest corner at Bullard and Marks. If you know where the Fresno County Library is there, it's, I think, right next to where Old Docks used to be, right?
Right next to Old Docks.
Yeah,
right in between.
yeah, it's where it used to be. All right, 436-MeTV, option 11. We got plenty more to talk about here and plenty more time remaining in the program. Back in just a moment.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
Frigidaire. It means the first refrigerator. It means a history of innovations that help make your home life better. And now we introduce the new Frigidaire French door refrigerator with over 100 ways to organize for maximum flexibility. Built with adjustable flip up and slide under shelving and stackable crisper drawers. It's the refrigerator that flexes to fit it all, no matter what your day will bring. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here with Mason Fowler and Jonathan Contrestano. They call him JT. And so let me ask you something. I don't know when it was on this program, maybe a month or two ago. We had somebody on the program. Can you refresh my memory here, Marcus or Lauren, about, we talked about kids and MMA. Who was on the program?
The Taekwondo guy.
All right. I forgot the name, but we talked about kids being involved in MMA. I mean small kids like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and they're holding these matches all up and down the state of California, and these kids are getting pounded.
Yeah.
I mean, in the face, in the head. What do you guys think about this? Start, JT.
I'm against that. Most of those kids too are in there because the parents are shoving them in there and never been in the fight in their life. I think let them train, let them hit and kick a bag all day long, and when they're old enough, when they're give them time to develop. When they're 18, 19, 20, that's when they can decide whether they want to fight or not. But these little kids in there, I mean, they're they don't know what they want for dinner. They don't know what kind of food they like.
Why doesn't the state of California outlaw that?
It might be coming soon. I see it as a form of child abuse. I hate it. I mean, it's crazy to see these parents yelling at their kids, swing back when they're taking damage. It's something that kids aren't always in there willingly.
Yeah, and the one video I recall showing, there was a little girl, I don't know, she was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. She got pounded and she was crying.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was literally hurt. Mason, what do you think about kids in MMA?
I know in California, I don't think it's sanctioned for them to fight without headgear that young, but...
No, it's not sanctioned, but they hold these fights everywhere.
Okay. I'm totally against that. I'm with him on this one. When they're 18, let them go in there and fight when they can make their own decisions. I teach kids. I teach kids jiu-jitsu, and there's no strikes to the head. It's all grappling. So it's all controlled, grappling, submissions, chokes, stuff like that.
You teach them the right way.
Yes.
The proper way, how to defend yourself and not get hurt.
Right.
And it should be outlawed. These kids are they're on the verge of getting hurt. I can't believe that it hasn't come to the attention of lawmakers here in California.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of great gyms out there, but there's also a lot of really bad ones that don't look out for their fighters and kids as well.
All right, my daughter just graduated from elementary school, and I noticed that they have a football team there at the elementary school level. They've got the pads, the helmets. It's full-on tackle. Are you in agreement with that? How about it, Mason?
There's still some damage you could take to the head. I'm not totally for it or against it. I don't know the numbers. I don't know all the information. So.
Yeah. JT?
I'm fairly similar. I don't agree with the elementary school kids in there playing. I was withheld till middle school and then played in high school. But play flag football. You can get almost the same thing out of it. You're learning the sport, but you're not in there taking the abuse yet. Let your body develop. Let your brain develop. Get used to movements and moving, and then go play.
Yeah, I mean, once you put the uniform on, I'm talking about football now, but we're talking about cage fighting. Once you put the uniform on and you take a hit, it's completely different.
Absolutely.
I experienced it one time, and I didn't want to do it again. And I was young. I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Wanted to go out for the football team. Took 1 or 2 hits, and I said, "Man, this is not for me.
Right.
This is not for me." It can be a vicious sport. But let's roll the videotape. JT, one more time. Got one video left, and I do want to talk a little bit more about cage fighting. The sport itself, though, would you agree or disagree with me that it hasn't quite caught on the way boxing has, of course, all these years, or maybe the way football has, the way baseball has? It's a sport that's kind of on the upswing and hasn't captured the imagination of the American public yet, to a certain extent.
Yeah, I agree with that
exactly.
somewhat. It's the fastest growing sport in the world right now. Boxing's been around for a long time. Football's been around for a long time. So these sports have generations of fans and people getting into it and excited. You're generally a fan favorite of a team because your dad was that same team.
Yeah.
So, with this, it's like Mason said, it kind of started in the 90s and become more popular early 2000s. So it's still growing, still young, and still plenty of time left for it.
Yeah, that's you in the black and red and white trunks. You right there.
Right.
And did you get hit there or what?
I
What
got
happened there?
poked in the eye right there. This is not going to be a good follow-up clip for me right here.
And those gloves that you wear are much smaller than regular boxing gloves. How much do those gloves weigh, and what are they? Do you have a thumb? Do you have a thumb like a regular boxing glove?
No thumb. It's little 4-ounce gloves.
Okay, 4 ounces. That's it, huh?
Yeah.
And so if you get hit with one of those, is it more vicious than if you got hit with a regular 12-ounce glove, or?
Yeah, there's less padding. It's
Less padding.
definitely, you're going to feel it, whether you feel it inside or just get scraped up, you're going to notice you took a shot.
What do you think, Mason, it's going to take for this sport to gain popularity with, say, the TV networks? Let's say Fox or any of these.
Yeah, they're on Fox now. I think the women's MMA has helped. Ronda Rousey, all these girls. So now the young girls have someone to look up to, and it's getting more mainstream every day. Now all the younger kids, it's kind of like the cool thing. Like these younger kids coming up are starting to get into it too.
Do you think the fact that martial arts is gaining in popularity, does that have to do with maybe this sport gaining popularity as well?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, do the two kind of overlap? Do they mix?
Yeah, everybody comes in, and the first thing they want to do is MMA. It's which is just all the sports boiled into one. But MMA has grown because of the UFC and what they've done on national TV. So.
Yeah. So what do you want to do? You want to continue fighting? You're young. You're 27?
I'm 27, yeah. No, right now I'm working as a full-time realtor, and then I train full-time at night as well. So, yeah, if you're looking to buy or sell, give me a call.
Buy or sell a house.
I'm right here.
Yeah, he's a great salesman. He's already got the business card ready to pass out right there. If you need a real estate agent,
friends, family,
buying
let
or
me
selling
know.
a home, there it is right there. And look at that. Where's the business suit?
It's nice.
Huh?
Yeah, I was a business marketing major. I actually drew the key on the back on there.
So you drew okay. All right. Specially designed by you.
Custom design.
All right. So where do you see yourself doing in, say, 5 or 10 years?
Hopefully I could keep growing in the sport, stay injury-free, stay healthy.
10 more years?
Maybe 10 years, yeah.
How old?
I'm 22.
Okay.
So maybe 10 years, teach, maybe open up my own gym one day. We'll see where it takes me.
What about the money, though? The purse isn't there like it is in boxing. Like this guy Mayweather, $180 million. Are you kidding me?
That's right. That's why I'm going to sell your house.
The money, real quick. We got like 20 seconds.
For the top guys, it is. If you're good at it, you'll find money. You'll find success. Conor McGregor was supposed to make $7 million on this upcoming fight.
That's good money. Yeah. I could live on that.
That's top level.
Yeah. Guys, good to see you. All right, thanks.
Thanks for
Mason,
having me.
good to see you.
Thank you so much.
JT, thank you. All right, good luck. Stay safe.
Absolutely.
Protect yourselves.
Absolutely.
All right. Need a couple of bodyguards? Here you go, right here, my friends. Thanks to Mason Fowler and Jonathan Contrestano, 2 cage fighters. See you back here tomorrow. Connect with me on MeTV Fresno. A special program again coming your way. Take care.